Welcome to Viewpoints. I'm Cal Bowman, and with me today in our student thesis series is Matt Jonkey, commander of the 92nd Civil Support Team, Nevada National Guard. And today we're going to talk about his thesis, Seeing Eye Drones, how the DoD can transform CBRN and disaster response in the Homeland. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So how did you pick DoD drones, or why did you choose to write about DoD drones?
So when I started thinking about my thesis, I wanted to do something that I was intimate about, being part of the military. Want something that I had a little bit of a foundational knowledge and understanding of, and I really wanted to write about drones. And in my job, I'm in the Civil Support Team, which is kind of the governor's 911 response unit for the National Guard. I thought, what a great idea to implement these drones, these small unmanned aircraft systems, into assistance to civil authorities and potentially save lives and increase situational awareness.
So why should the authorities care about this?
You know, the civil authorities, for several reasons, this greatly benefits them. And the concept of this thesis is to give them a capability that they can make better informed decisions. For example, let's say there's a train derailment and that derailment causes some sort of hazmat chemical spill. Instead of sending your first responders down in a dangerous, contaminated environment, how nice would it be for an incident commander to be able to get this resource, deploy it aerially, be able to do potential aerial monitoring, sensing, modeling, and with a video camera, and be able to detect and identify some of those substances that are on the ground before you send anybody in. That capability increases their situational awareness, allows them to make better informed decisions, and ultimately provides a better capability for them. Also, a lot of civil authorities live in large metropolitan areas where they have large budgets, they have resources. Drones are coming. We might as well, we should try to leverage that technology and use it for some benefit. A lot of these larger cities are going to be able to do that. But a lot of these rural areas that may not have the budgets, the resources to manage this equipment can use the civil support teams. There's at least one in each state and one in each territory of the United States. Our job is to provide 24-hour, 7-day-a-week CBRN and weapons of mass destruction and all hazards response in the form of hazmat specialty to these civil authorities. By giving this resource to the civil support team, you have now instantly resourced the entire nation and all the territories with this capability. And the benefit of the civil support team is everything we provide is not reimbursable to the federal government. Most National Guard resources, when they're called up to respond to a natural disaster, that authority, whoever the requesting agency was, has to repay the federal government for those resources. Civil support team is provided by the federal government at no cost. So now you've instantly afforded this capability across the nation and at no cost to the requesting agency.
Wow. So you talked a little bit about what this resource provides. Talk a little bit about what policy and doctrine barriers are in place right now that are kind of prohibitive.
So a good part of my thesis was done doing a gap analysis of current policy. And current DoD policy is it's not that it won't work. There's a foundational policy there, but traditionally the DoD and UAS or drones is geared towards combat environments or overseas environments where you don't have a lot of the challenges such as FAA integration, such as a lot of intelligence oversight, which is your right to privacy, Fourth Amendment right here in the United States. So all these policies that the DoD currently has for UAS or drones is geared towards either large-scale disaster in the homeland, where it's approved by the Secretary of Defense himself, or it lacks that integration that you need to be able to fly within the homeland. So, for example, if a major disaster happens in a state, they can request DoD UAS in the form of the large Predators or large UAS aircraft, but that has to go all the way up to the Secretary of Defense. It's mainly more as a damage assessment capability. This would require immediate approval authority. So what my recommendation is to push that authority down from adopt sUAS, small UAS policy that enables the approval authority to go all the way down to my level. And that way it gives an immediate response capability to the civil authorities rather than waiting for days when whatever it is they need it for is already over with. We need it now. And so the goal of this policy options analysis is to give the DoD a foundation of what the current policies are that are out there, the gaps in these policies, and how to integrate those into homeland policies.
So we identify the barriers, we identify some of the policies that need to go into this. But at the end of the day, is this technology available?
So currently right now, there are capabilities that are out there that meet this requirement. So you're going to need a small UAS capable of a camera, capable of some sort of air monitoring device. Because it's such a new technology, there are private companies that have done it. There's not a lot of information available on them. The DoD is even using some of this stuff for the same purposes, but from the research, it's only geared towards overseas operations. To my knowledge, I cannot find anything that indicates that they're using this stuff and gearing it towards a homeland. So this whole idea, I presented an option. The FAA recently came out with a UAS policy for both commercial and private operators. And what it does, it basically allows these systems to be able to be operated within the national airspace system in the United States and legally and safely. And so this policy offers the option to basically adopt what the FAA has already created with minimal changes. In fact, the changes that I recommended are more restrictive than what the FAA offers. So it provides the DoD kind of that avenue that they can take to adopt this and be successful with it. But to my knowledge, there are no systems that are geared towards a homeland at this point.
You talked a lot about the policy. You talked about the restrictions in the doctrine, current doctrine, and the availability of the technology. What were the limitations of your research, and is there research still to be done on this topic?
Absolutely. So, because it's a new technology, trying to find information is either non-existent, or a lot of these private companies don't want to release it because it's intellectual property, and they're not real forthcoming with the information they have on their system so far. So there were a lot of limitations in the research. Also, that there just is no doctrine right now that is geared towards this capability. So all of this doctrine is going to have to be created. However, there is doctrine that has similar programs and similar policies that are geared towards, like I said, overseas operations. From here, really, I think some future research can be done on the specific, working group within the DoD comprised of civil authorities, civil support team, the end user, staff from not only the Office of the Secretary of Defense, but also the National Guard Bureau can get together and really kind of determine what specific needs and policy needs need to be done. Additionally, what specific capabilities these systems need to have. For example, max weight that they're going to use, max altitudes, all those things need to be determined. So much more technical analysis needs to be done. This is more of a policy analysis.
Good. Well, it sounds like there's some real applications, both near-term and long-term, with your thesis. So I want to thank you very much for your research here and your efforts, and I look forward to seeing what fruits come from your labor.
Thanks for having me, Cal.
Yes, sir.